Hi there everyone, it's Marie here. I'm here with video today for Lottie Loves Paper, so this one classes as an advertisement, and I'm using the awesome Pinkfresh Studio Celebrate collection. It's their collection that they've made alongside Alt New. So from Lottie Loves Paper I've received quite a few papers, and then I've got the stamp set, I've got the die that goes with the stamp set, and I got the ephemera as well. And I've decided today to make my own background because that stamp is absolutely stunning. So I've started off, I'm using one of those stamp platforms. Mine is the Tim Holtz one. I believe they're all pretty much similar. It just means that you can keep re-stamping if your first impression isn't quite right. And mine never are, so I use this quite a lot to make sure that I get my impressions to work. So basically what I've done is I've taken the stamp and I've stamped it onto the top of the piece of cardstock. Now this is, I think I'm stamping on basil cardstock right now, just to make sure I got a really crisp, clean image. I then took one of the die cuts so that I had exactly the right shape, and I made it into a mask by popping some little dots of Tombow glue, because if you don't put the Tombow between two things, just stick two things together, and you just put little blobs on and leave it to dry, it becomes like a repositionable glue. So I've made my own mask doing that. So you'll see that little white piece of paper that I keep moving along. That's to cover up the previously stamped image, so that I don't kind of have that crossover of stamps and it just looks like a continual stamped image, even though it is just one. And I do keep overlapping it, but as you can see there, you just place it over the top of the previous one, and then the overlapped part doesn't stamp again. So I'm just about done there. I think I've just stamped like a whole stripe down the page, and I think I'm really pleased with it. I think it looks gorgeous. I've decided to put some coloured paper around the edge, so I've gutted one of the pieces of cardstock from the collection, and I'm just trimming down my piece of white there by about a 1/4 inch on each side, and I'm going to stick that down just to give it a little bit of interest around the outside, to really ground the page. So I'm using my double-sided sticky here and just folding up the corners. It means you can kind of position it without it completely sticking in case it's in the wrong place. Then you just press it down in the corners, and then you can peel out the rest of the tape covering, and it means it goes on roughly correctly. And then what I did off camera there, and you didn't see me do, was I did just run around the edge with my sewing machine, again just to give an extra little bit of interest around the edge, and to enable me to be able to kind of fluff up these edges. And I just use a pair of flat-ended tweezers for that, or my nail, just to give it again another little bit of interest around the outside. I'm now going to start playing with the ephemera. I've even used the piece of card that came in the ephemera pack, that was just like the packaging, to back my photograph on. This is me and my son in our garden quite a lot, quite early in the year actually. But I just love the photograph, and it's kind of, I liked that little title I'm using there is a Bramble Fox one, and I just like the idea of that making today count, like making every day count, because we've had to, haven't we, while we've been stuck at home. So I'm just playing with tucking in lots of different pieces of ephemera, and I'm going to start sticking things down. This layout, after I'd done that stamped background, really didn't take me too long at all. I tend to cut pieces of ephemera in half so that I can use one bit on one corner and then one bit on another, and really make them spread out and get best use of them, if you like. So I'm just tucking lots of little pieces in behind the photograph, just to build it up and give it a real sense of layering, a bit of depth as well. I go for lots of corners, and by not backing the whole thing, you just save yourself bits of card that you can use elsewhere, or bits of ephemera that you can use elsewhere. So I do little bits of tearing, I do some that are cut, and then I'm just going to get some foam now and pop some foam on the back. I do always try and match my foam colour to the general colour of the layout, so if you do ever catch a glimpse of it, it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb, like if I put bright yellow behind this or purple or something. I've gone for a pink just to try and keep it in keeping. Really happy with how that's looking. These are some fussy cut flowers from one of the other sheets of paper, and I think I play around with them for a couple of minutes. Yeah, and I take them off. I decide not to put those on. I did like that little vase of flowers. That seemed to fit really nicely. And just popping things. I was going to have a little section there to the left, but I think I move it in the end and pop it all together in the middle. And just start tucking all these little bits under. And then I realise I've not actually stuck my photograph down, so figure I better do that. So just stick that down. And then I've got to do a bit of doctoring to my title. I did break the Make Today Count perspective. I was being really silly and I was playing with it in my hands. I was like fiddling with it, and I fiddled a little bit too much and I broke it. So yeah, whoops, never mind. But by the time I stick it all back down, you wouldn't ever know. So I'm really happy with how that's looking, but I do decide it just needs a little bit of something extra, and I pull out a whole load of similar coloured sequins from Spiegel Mom Scrap. So I kind of took them all over the page and make a little bit of a diagonal line going across there. And I think I pull out some pink ones. I've got some iridescent-y, like white pearly coloured ones. I've got a few green ones as well, and just spread them right the way across, just to give that bit of interest. And then I use glossy accents to stick down my sequins. I find it works, although my tube of glossy accents blocks up every time I leave it. I do find it's stickier than glue, and it seems to grab hold of the sequins really easily. Well, that's about it for my layout. Thank you ever so much for watching today. Hope this layout has inspired you, especially to have a go with stamps on a layout. It is something I've become I really enjoyed doing, especially on this one, so I'll definitely be doing it again. And like as you can see, they're just adding an extra little bit of journaling on there now. Here come some close-ups of the layout itself, and I will see you again soon. Thank you ever so much for watching. Bye for now.